Coming to you from the Oddball Podcast Studios in New York City. My name is Vin Forte, and you're listening to Oddball with Vin Forte. Go follow the show over on YouTube, youtube.com/@Oddball Podcast. That's youtube.com/@Oddball Podcast. Over on all the social media accounts, Instagram, Oddball_pod, Twitter /X @Oddball Podcast. Gonna do a nice relaxing episode this week. At the end of the NBA season. In fact, I don't think there's a single game on on today as of this recording, because I think we're just kind of waiting for the play-in to start. So we'll get into the NBA in a little bit. Got some good NBA topics today, some good fun cool down topics. But obviously, you know, I try to never come alone. So we got this man with me this week in the rotation once again. We got Banks.
Yeah, I'm the honorary second host on this show at this point. I'm starting to believe that.
Yeah, you're in the mix. There's a couple people that I like to switch in every month. There's you, Fam, is on a bunch. Yo, Fam, Martenzie Johnson from ESPN. He comes in once a month, and yeah, we got some. We'll have more surprises coming up as the days and months roll on. But how are you doing this weekend, Banks?
Finally have a few days off instead of 2 days on, 2 days off, or whatever, or 2 days off, and then I'm just going straight through a week. So it feels good, but it's weird to have time off. It's like, oh, I don't have to work, cool. But at the same time, I get to catch up on stuff to watch. So trying to watch the Fallout show, X-Men 97.
Okay,
yeah,
because
I'm a big mark for the game.
Well, X-Men 97. I think we got a bit of a delay here, so let's be cautious with that. But Fallout looks really good. Haven't seen it yet. X-Men 97. I'm on episode 4. Everyone's saying episode 5 is the one, and I've been loving it so far.
Really?
Have you not been liking X-Men?
No, I love it. It's probably my second favorite show this year.
All right. What do you think about it? Don't leave us hanging.
Overall, I love the way it's illustrated. They call it 97 because it's the continuous story if people don't know. But the illustration looks somewhat similar to the old style, but it's more anime style, which, a lot of the American cartoons are doing. They're implementing that. But overall, the look of it is beautiful. The voiceovers is still beautiful. Logan is still a simp for somebody. He's basically doing the head lover LL Cool J. He's still a simp for somebody else's girl. I love everything about it. It's definitely my second favorite show. I mean, Ted is just number one right now, but that can always change.
Yeah, people have been telling me that Ted show is low key, climbing up the ranks for people.
Hilarious. It's old school far as the humor, and also it has a lot of serious moments, believe it or not. People that call a lot of people off guard. There's some serious moments involved, but between that it's the humor, and it's it's only 8 episodes. I'm like, dude, I needed 20 of this.
All right. Well, maybe you'll get a full season of Ted one day. I know they're probably doing a second season, so probably won't have to wait too long.
Got you. Yeah.
But you mentioned old school. It's nothing more old school than some of the players we grew up with. Unless you ask people older than us, and they'll go, no, it's the players we grew up with. But right. we'll be biased for a moment. And we're going to talk a little bit about Allen Iverson, who got a statue this week outside of the... Well, that's kind of what we were going to get into, he got less a statue and more like a bronze Funko Pop.
Yeah, you said that on IG, and I popped when you said that because the level of disrespect. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind having my own Funko Pop. But it's still dude, just look at this, viewers. Hopefully you're on YouTube, Oddball Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, look at that. Allen Iverson was never the tallest basketball player. He's taller than his own statue right now. in this picture.
Well, clearly, and then the thing is, you wouldn't know it was AI unless you looked at the name. But also, I mean, the dribble, they got that down pack. But if you look at it, it's like, all right, the headband and the braids, cool, that's AI, but you got to get close enough to it. But if the statue was bigger, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and like I get what they're doing with the arm. You just got like the arm stretched out with the ball at the end of it. But I don't know. I feel like there could have been a better pose too. Like I get there. Like, are they trying to go for the crossover? Because I feel like they could have done another snapshot that would have embodied the crossover maybe a little better.
What they could have done is, if you really want to identify that that's AI,
I know
just
where
put
you're
like a
going with this.
4X white T on them.
Okay, well, you could do
No,
that. I was
4X
gonna
white
say,
T.
imagine the
What else?
disrespect.
What did you think I was gonna say, Diddy?
You were gonna say, just make the statue the Tai Lu shot where he's just stepping over him.
Nah, because that would have been, because he said he feel bad about that now, so you can't even do that. And Ty Lue might be like a Hall of Fame coach at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't do that. I would like to see it, but I don't think it's gonna that. And also, I don't know. This is the topic that we're actually gonna get into. I was gonna bring up with a different player a little later, but can you celebrate? Like, how far can you celebrate a moment that's a great moment, but in a series that you ultimately lost?
I think it's just because the type of players he had, which was Eric Snow. Uh, I'm blanking out on the other names, but Eric Snow obviously is an old ass Dikembe Mutombo, who was
Well, I was gonna,
Defensive
yeah,
Player of the Year, no
Matumbo.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Mutombo was 55. Uh, and I'm blanking out on the names. I know that team, but I cannot think of the names right now. But basically, they were all implemented there by Coach Brown to be defensive paralysis for him. But it's like, yeah, the goal is still to score. And the fact of the matter is, with AI, he was 42% in his MVP season. Well, his career average is 42% field goal percentage. It's a reason for that because I have nobody else to pass to, and I got to come off the dribble and shoot or get to the hole.
oh, that's very true. I mean, he's that team. That whole team is very interesting, and the documentary on them really sums it up. Even the name of it, everything but the chip, because it's like they really did get every like from defensive player of the year, coach of the year, MVP, like every accolade that they could have racked up that year. They did. It's just sometimes, man, you just run into a team that is just far and away like a generational team. And that's what that Lakers
Mhm.
team was. And, I think that's why people still, I don't think anyone holds it against AI that he didn't win a championship. Like maybe some weirdos do, but like he's not one of these guys that's going to ever be looked at like, oh, well, he didn't. Like when James Harden goes into the Hall of Fame, if the Clippers don't win this year, um, I think people are going to look at him weird and go, well, he never, all these empty calories, empty stats, but, never won a championship. I don't think people are going to look at AI the same way, but they will look at a guy like Harden like that.
Well, also you got to think, and this is coming from the perspective of an AI mark. It's like Bomani Jones said the best, the great Bomani Jones. He said, "Don't talk about AI and Pac because they have like a cult like following." And ironically, I love both of those guys. So with AI, it's kind of like I'm a mark for AI. I just said his stat line. I think his career average is 24.9 or 25.1 points per game, 4-time scoring champ. But then I'll be like, I'm saying all these accolades, but I don't care about the championship. It's AI. So I think with everybody else,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. With Harden, it's getting less of that because he was never over as a baby face. Whereas, depending on who you talk to, AI is the baby face, or he could be the heel for the media for no reason because he never did anything to people.
Well, that's the thing too. If you're well liked by the majority, I think if you bring something to the game that transcends just being a basketball player, like Vince Carter, for example, he's going in the Hall of Fame. Vince Carter is my favorite basketball player of all time. Um, and even I was a little surprised when it seems like the majority of people, like overwhelmingly, were like, oh yeah, like there's just not even a debate about it. Vince Carter's a Hall of Famer. And it's like, you know what? I eventually came around to it, but there was a time where I was like, you know what? There's an argument to be made he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's got, 8 All-Star appearances, Rookie of the Year, but his playoff success is not great. Um, he had great averages, points wise, for the first chunk of his career. He's got the longevity, but then it brings up the question: does the longevity matter? And at the end of the day, I think it does matter because, as I've always said, health, uh, you know, availability is the best ability, and your health matters. And for him to be in good enough condition and playing at a level where teams still wanted him into his 40s, like that's something. Like, how many guys bow out of the league in their early 30s or, are 31 years old and people go, oh, well, they're on the back half of their career. They say that about Vince Carter at that age. Like, he's still, little did we know, he had like 10 more years left.
Yeah, especially because his athleticism was everything. Not to say he didn't have a jump shot. He's always had a decent enough jump shot because I watched him in UNC, the greatest basketball program of all time. Another UNC legend,
Oh,
another
him,
UNC
Antoine
player going to the
Jameson, and
Basketball Hall of
yeah.
Fame. Yeah, yeah. Another. Thank you for saying that. Another UNC great. We just produced a lot of greats, and they keep going to the NBA Hall of Fame. I don't know how many Duke players are there. Anyhow, uh, with Vince Carter, he was athletic, obviously Vinsanity. So for him, like Vinny just said, to add on 10 more years to his career is something you can't, scoff at. And he's played with multiple teams, yes, but you always need a vet on the team. And he's like the last vet. I'm talking about overall in the NBA. Like everybody else now is just the only vet that's left is LeBron, but he's still looked at as quote
He's leading the
unquote kind of
team.
the young guy because he's still great. Yeah. And then with Vinny Carter, when he was on the Hawks and he got that infamous meme, I still got one more left in me. He was good then. He was only averaging probably like 12 points, but still he's a vet. You don't expect him to average 20. But this is a guy for his entire career has been a 20 plus point game player. Like when he went to the Magic, he changed his game dramatically. It was like he basically
Sneaky
became a spot
good,
up
the
shooter.
second half of his career, right. Sneaky good 3-point shooter. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have the stat in front of me, but he's on the list of like at least the top 20. I think he's in top 10, right? Or was it at one point recently in 3-point shooting all time?
I think he's top five because Jason Kidd, ironically, is in the top five because LeBron just passed him up, and
Yeah,
Jason
no,
Kidd another one. But Jason Kidd was way worse as a shooter than Vince Carter was. From Cal all the way to he didn't really start becoming good until he got to the Mavs as a 3-point shooter, and then from there to the Knicks, that's how he got up there in the rankings. Like he can always shoot the three, but at the same time, he wasn't consistent with it until later on. He was more so getting to the hoop, and then those no look passes, of course. So with AI, he was never a solid 3-point shooter as well because I mean, obviously it's the 2000s, so the 3-point wasn't implemented. If you could shoot it, you could shoot it, or you was a spot up shooter, or you could just shoot overall, not even spot up shooter like Ray Allen or Michael Redd, who was another player people failed to realize was like savant when it came to jump shooting. But with AI, the best thing about AI, God rest his soul, is what Kobe said. If he was 6'5", we'd be in trouble. So we might be having a different
yeah,
conversation in that '01 series if it was a 6'5" Allen Iverson because everybody always talks about his heart.
yeah. And going back to Vince Carter for a second, he is, as of right now, number 9 in 3-point
Okay.
points. So he's at 1,541. Oh no, that's games played. Points is, did
Which
actually
is
have the
still really
total.
good.
3 points made is, give me 1 second here, 2,290.
Okay.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. He's in the top 10, and he was higher up. Before a couple other people were probably on the list. Kicking other people down. So like that's. I know we started talking about AI, but I like where this went with Vince Carter, and
No, but
yeah,
it's perfect because that classic series in the '01, the Eastern Conference
Oh,
Finals,
it's great.
that got him. Yeah, so he had to go through Vinsanity. I think Antonio McDyess was on there, older Charles Oakley. So he had to go through that team with some beast on there in the paint to then get to the final. So it all, works.
What would what the what if Vince Carter had never gone to get his if he had never gone to graduation?
You said, what if he never graduated?
What if he never went to his graduation that day?
I never really thought about that. That's a good question. Because
Because
the
people are always
alternate would have
like,
been, I think they still lose. I
you
think they
think they
still
still
lose.
lose?
It's just,
You think people hang too much on that final shot? Like he probably would have just not made. He probably would have missed that shot anyway. People sort of
it's
scapegoating it
gravity.
by going like, "Oh, he was tired."
Nah, you can't even say that because AI was tired because he had to go through the whole playoffs, basically willing his team by himself. And it's not to say that other players weren't good. It's just he was the focal point of the offense, and he played 45 minutes a game, damn near 42 to 45 minutes a game. Like, name his backup.
Right now,
So it's like
yeah, no, exactly. No
it's the
one.
same thing like with the GOAT, with Jordan, the great one. It's like Craig Hodges, cool. We can name Craig Hodges because of what happened that got him put out the league, which is stupid. But then you got BJ Armstrong as well, who could play the two at times. So it's like you really can't name AI's backup. And I'm trying to think. And usually I'm not gonna sit up here and call myself a basketball savant. I have a huge amount of knowledge, but at this time, like I said, I can't think of his roster. But no, I think regardless, and shouts out to Vince Carter because a lot of people don't remember he graduated from college too. Uh, it's just one of these guys that just like I want it more than you, so to speak. And then it's once in a lifetime. Like, no disrespect to Vince Carter, we won't see a player like that again. But we definitely never see another AI. They tried to compare it to Jai at one point. It's like, nah, bro, not even Jai's that. Maybe just me and you are just the old men right now on the porch.
Maybe, but I mean, well, that was the thing with AI too. Is people try and downplay what he did by looking at the numbers and going, "Well, his efficiency wasn't that great." It's like, nah. See, that's where the eye test comes in. Like, you could throw out
Mhm.
statistics about efficiency all you want. Kobe Bryant had poor efficiency a lot of the time. Like, there were times where Kobe was chucking up air balls like you wouldn't believe. But it's the fact that the offense ran through him that you have to take that into consideration. Like, okay, yeah, there were times when AI or Kobe even would have to, uh, you know, chuck up air balls and just like toss them up to get himself out of the hole. But once he was out of the hole, it's like, well, you're done. Like if he got himself out, if he got in the hole and was chucking up air balls before halftime, you may have a chance. But if he gets out of that hole in the beginning of the fourth quarter, you're done. You're done because he's gonna kill you. Like once he gets in his groove, like that's it. And that was the same with AI. But we're talking about old NBA, oldish NBA. Let's jump right to the modern game. Like I said, no games on today because we're at the end of the season already. It feels like we're just talking about the play-in or the in-season tournament. Not that long ago, but it actually
Mhm.
has been months since that point. What are your takeaways from this season?
I had to do the anime evil laugh just because everybody knows. Shouts out to our brother Cody Dre and everybody else I've been saying. By far the worst season of NBA history. And I've been watching basketball since '96. I've been studying it for years. by far the worst season in NBA history to me.
Now, why is that? Why do you feel such blasphemy?
Very few players care, especially the role players. We are, and it's not the pocket count, but I feel like shit. The TV money about to come in some more after this season. They got to renegotiate. We know it's going to be up there. It's just nobody plays defense, and that's been the case for the past couple of years. But this season, obviously, dude, just like I swear, Luca might be the second coming of Will Chamberlain. He's just white and he's 6'6". Cause it's like, dude, he just out here scoring 60 when he wants to. The Hornets, when I seen that the first quarter, I just said, really? Or the first half, it's just really? We just not gonna play defense already, and we already know how the Hornets get down. We just want to buy some jewelry, and we don't care. And Charlotte is a great city. It's just it seems to be we get also to a point of the new generation too. I will say that's like the biggest positive. We're starting to see the new generation. Like you got the old man, and this slide here, and it's just like shit. Even with him this season, not to say that he's like giving up, but you could tell, yeah, it's starting to become the end for LeBron. And then obviously now at this point they're in the play-in, they're locked in for the play-in. I think against the Warriors, you could tell it with him. It's like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna try, but I don't really care if we don't make it or not. I just want to play with my son and then dip up out of here, which is fine because the guy he's given us more than enough in the past 20 plus years. So I have no problem with that. But overall, this season I've not found any of the games to be entertaining. It's a ton of blowouts. The Celtics just tick me off as a team because it's just like, dude, I don't get y'all. So much talent, and it's like either we gonna win by 20 or we gonna get blown out by 20, and I think they're gonna get cooked in the playoffs.
Well, that's the weird thing, right? Is that there are a few teams out there that prove that okay, you do need defense, and when you have a well-rounded team, it can yield big success. Obviously, the Nuggets are the prime example. They've stuck to that formula, and it's probably going to pay off. Like they could go back to back. They're certainly in the hunt for it. Even you look at a team like the Rockets right now, where nobody had any expectation for them this year, but look, on the whole, like, do they have a great record this season? No. But again, you have to look at the whole context and sort of leading into the final months of the season in what was essentially, the start of a reclamation project, like starting from the ground up. You could see that, like, oh, wow, like they really got it together. And the last 2 months of the season was like, wow, if they're this good next season from the start, there's something here. And they've got a very well-rounded team. So it's like you mentioned, guys coming up you're a little more excited about. Do you think that we're just going through kind of a purge period? And I say that because in the mid 2010s, that's when it felt like everyone was trying to copy the Warriors and just go big on offense, big on threes, screw defense. And then we saw in the past 5 years that the teams that win actually have more to them. That it's not just this sort of fait accompli that, the Warriors are going to, you need a team like the Warriors to win. No, you need a well-rounded. You need a team that's going to play defense. And I think now we're going through a period where other teams are finally getting the memo. And it's like, yes, some may still be chasing that high offense system, but I think a lot more teams have taken a step back and are kind of like, okay, we're either, have to stick to our game plan right now and run things out because we've got a big star that we have to invest in them. It's just not, we're not going to move heaven and earth right now, but when we do get to a point where we have to shake things up a little bit, a lot of these organizations may think twice about going all in on like, oh, we need a big three. It's like, do you? You need a big defense is what you need. You don't need a big three.
I think what's going on right now, as you said that, we're getting to a point where it is a change in the guard, but pun intended, everything is changing to the guard. SGA, Ant-Man, you got the two guards of the future. And tomorrow, this will be up before then, but tomorrow, which is Sunday, the games of the season come on. It's three teams fighting for that number one spot to lock it in. It's the Grizzly. I'm sorry, not the Grizzly. I'm sorry. The Nuggets, it's the Timberwolves, and then it's the Thunder. And the Thunder have been my favorite team. Like, I've been watching damn near every game this season, and I haven't done that since Katie and
again, like
Russ was on the team together.
all three of those teams, like you kind of just made my point for me. Like all three of those teams at the top, at least in the West, are super well rounded. And they took the time to grow their younger players, find out where people could fit. They have great role players, they great guys off the bench. They don't shortchange their six man. A lot of teams, like even to this day, like I hate 8-8. This trope that's been in the NBA since seemingly the dawn of time. That if you're a really good six man, that's not as good as being a starter. And it's like, no. Like sometimes you need that six man to come off the bench and win you the game. Like just because you're not literally starting in the beginning of the game, doesn't mean your impact in the game is not just as important.
Ginobili, he could have started definitely, but Coach Pop was like, "Nah, you come off the bench." It's the reason why he's a multiple-time six-man. Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford. We're talking about three guys that could definitely start for a team, but they came off the bench, and it was like, you giving us 18 to 20 points and whatever else you can give us to help us win this game.
Right. Give me the points in the beginning of the game. Give me the points in the end of the game. But like the final score doesn't care where you got the points.
Right. It's not a demotion at all. Like the six man has always been important. But I feel like in the past couple of years, it feels like a demotion where it's like you give them the six man a year and it's just like, it's like, here, just take it. It's like most improved player. They just put in that kind of category. But with you saying these well-rounded teams, you're absolutely right, because it's essentially going back, and maybe that's where we're going. We're going back to sort of an old Renaissance period where you got a guard and you got a big man, the inside-outside game, like you just mentioned, Kobe and Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
You got Chet on the Thunder, you got Cat, and you got Rudy on the Timberwolves, and then you got Jokic and you got Jamal Murray. That's essentially how the game has always been played. You got your guard and you got your big man. If my guard can give me 20 plus points, cool. If my big man can give me more than that, some rebounds and blocks, we're probably going to win a championship.
Oh, Banks is breaking up. He is. It sounded like Megatron over there. Now you're back. But yeah, well-rounded teams.
Oh, it's Saturday. You gotta understand all the bad kids. Yeah,
I know you get the bad Wi-Fi right now. You get the Saturday Wi-Fi. You got the everyone's home.
Yeah, that's
and wasting up all the bandwidth Wi-Fi. Oh, did we lose him again?
No, I'm back. I had to turn the Wi-Fi off because, like you just said, all the kids are earning electricity instead of being outside hooping. That's why we ain't gonna have no great players in the future. Go ahead.
Well, on that note, that's I think we're done with this topic. I think the Wi-Fi is dictating where we're going now. But I mentioned before, we're going to talk about another player who had a great moment, but didn't really get it done, in the bigger picture. And this is just a weird story. This is Reggie Miller's big bobblehead. So the Pacers posted this earlier this week, where they gave away a life-size Reggie Miller bobblehead where he's doing the choke face from that Knicks series. And my question is, where are you putting this? What do you do with this? Like, are you gonna put
outside
it
to scare people.
you do it like on Halloween? You gonna put Reggie Miller out on the lawn? Oh, once a year. You gonna are you gonna put this in your bedroom? Oh, they got his head right. They definitely got his head. But like, are you gonna put this in your bedroom and then like what? Your wife is gonna be like, no, let Reggie stay. Like Reggie likes to watch. Like we're not moving Reggie, and then all of a sudden you're divorced the next week.
It brings a different meaning to the show.
Listen, man, I know what you were saying. I'm glad that cut out from the Wi-Fi.
But no, you definitely got to put this in the garage and it up and that's it.
Yeah, this is. I don't even know how you get entered into a kind of like do you go to your family like, listen, I won a major award. Like this is definitely like a Christmas story kind of thing where it's like I won a major award, and they wheel a big box in. It's like, oh, what is it? What is it? Whole family gathers around. Box is filled with paper and packing peanuts. You wipe the packing peanuts off the top, and all the kids see is a big, gormless Reggie Miller just staring them right in the face. Look at that. Look at that.
It looks like a garbage pail kid, too. Like a 6'7" garbage pail kid.
What other team would you want to see this for? Because like I don't know why the Pacers did this. Maybe they just had an extra Reggie life-size bobblehead lying around for some reason. But like, what player and team would you like to see do another giveaway like this?
Oh, a Jordan one, but the eyes got to be red and it got to come with a big ass cigar.
Oh, you want the cognac, Jordan? You want the
Yeah, we gotta have that, or we gotta have them with some deck of cards.
Yeah, sunglasses. Like I want a Ahmad Rashad interview, Jordan.
Yeah, we got to. Otherwise than that, you definitely got. Damn, I can't say that. You definitely got to have a Will Chamberlain one, but it got to come with women.
Well, okay. I see where you're going with that. You cleaned it up. Okay, I'll give you credit.
Yeah.
You cleaned that up.
Well, this is a PG show, sir. So yeah.
Yeah, this is for the kids.
For kids even though I said the A word, Reggie. Kids don't curse.
Yeah, don't curse. Don't be like Banks. Pay your Wi-Fi bill.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Just don't have people on it. That's it.
Yeah, keep your Wi-Fi to yourself. But we're gonna end today with a cool down segment. I don't know. This is weird. As the cool down segment sometimes is, there's a collaboration right now between Crocs and Pringles, where they've got Pringles designed Crocs, and the real crown jewel, as you can see on your screen, is a pair of Crocs that have like a holster on the side of the foot, where you can store your Pringles. So if let's say you're going out for a jog and you're like, damn, I really need some Pringles right now, you can squatch down and pop some Pringles off of your shoe.
Let me say this, brother, I'm on a fast right now and I'm starving. And if I had to eat Pringles, I would do another 20-hour fast. I hate Pringles, but I like the design of these Crocs.
Would you buy them? If we can get a hold of some Pringles Crocs and mail them out to you, would you model the Pringles Crocs?
Absolutely. I have my legs out like this, even though I got more definition in my legs. I don't skip leg day like this jabroni. So yeah, I would definitely model these. Instead of the Pringles, though, just put Crown Royal in the holster.
Oh, the like the tiny little Crown Royal bottles.
Yeah, just put them in there in the holster. They're gonna be like, "That's Crown Royal. That's not Pringles. Shut up. I don't like Pringles. I hate the sour cream and onion ones, the salt and vinegar, and I like salt and vinegar chips. I hate all the Pringles. I'm sorry if you want to get a sponsorship with Pringles. Never mind. Hey, I love Pringles. Send me the
No,
Crocs
it's
and give
okay.
Vinny
You don't
some
have
money.
to. You don't have to do that. You can be honest.
I had to clean
You
it
can
up.
speak freely about Pringles, but
How
I
many
think
people actually eat Pringles?
I don't know. I feel like Pringles were more like a novelty. Like I remember eating Pringles as a kid, and I
Yeah,
didn't question it because like you're just a kid. But as you get older,
right.
eventually it's just like, the hell am I eating these chips out of a tube for?
Right. And like
Like
they
I get
super
a
greasy
yeah.
and
Like how'd they get
salty.
that? Yeah, how'd they get that greasy that can?
Hey, they just sprinkled it in there and they poured the grease in there.
Just pour the grease. And then like
Yeah,
I feel
because
like they're one
remember
of these
the Pringle?
brands that well, I feel like they're also one of these brands that they got a little too crazy with the flavors. Like it used to just be like you said, like okay, salt and vinegar, you got your sour cream, pizza Pringles. But now they have like
Yeah.
15 million Pringles flavors, including I know around Christmas they bust out the like the sweet Pringles. Like they'll have like cinnamon sugar Pringles. It's like I don't need
Ew.
that.
Isn't that like essentially a churro?
But I'll just eat a churro then. Like just give me churro snacks.
That's what I'm saying. Because Pringles taste like a churro without the sweetness.
I don't know. It just tastes like grease. Like I'm with you. They just taste like grease to me. Like, and you can only eat like 5 of them before you reach in, and then like half of them start like deteriorating.
Yeah, I do. You know what? I take that back. I used to love the pizza ones when I was a kid because it does take like it tastes like a pizza, but obviously with the name. But at the same time, I didn't find it fascinating just because me growing up, I wasn't a huge like chip kid to begin with. But if
Right.
I do eat chips, it'd be like the great value ones at the barbecue and stuff like that. But I was never like a huge Lay's, something like that. But even to this day, like the only chips I really like are like the New Orleans ones. I forgot the name of it, but you probably
Oh,
seen
the
them.
Zaps.
Is it like voodoo chips or something or Zaps? Yeah, whatever they are. But yeah, I
It's
love those.
Zaps is the brand, but they have like yeah the
Yeah.
voodoo chips, and they have like what is it, like crocodile something or other.
Yeah, like dill pickle crocodile. Pardon me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Also,
it. Like
like
I've never been a
if
big
you're
chip guy.
running and you've got that like chip thing attached right to the side of your foot, you're running, you're out and about, like that's gonna get hot and sweaty. Like you don't want your chips in there.
Well, it tastes just like a Pringle at that point, just a little extra salty.
Well, I guess so. I guess so. But
Yeah.
hit us up, Twitter and Instagram at Oddball Podcast over on Twitter at Oddball_pod over on Instagram. Let me know. Would you wear the Pringles Crocs collab? How do you feel about Allen Iverson's statue? Do you think that Banks should spring for the enhanced Wi-Fi? Let me know. Let Banks know over on his social media accounts. Banks, where can the general populace find you?
Well, if my Wi-Fi does work, so I can respond instead of looking like PS2 graphics, you can find me at Pardon the Banks on IG, Pardon the Banks on TikTok. Most importantly, Banks versus Davis on YouTube, patreon.com/black announce table, patreon.com/RAO podcast, random acts of podcast, and black announce table if you don't understand the acronyms. Uh yeah, you can find me on there. Otherwise than that, if you listen to this, you better be on YouTube for Oddball Podcast. Yeah, you can listen to it, but you need to be on that YouTube and subscribe. Oddball Podcast.
Yeah, you're missing out on this man's face. You don't want to miss out on seeing Banks. It's a rare sight that he puts his face out there.
Exactly. I'm like MF Doom without a mask. I just got a lot of hats.
Yeah, I saw you put some new vanity shots up earlier. So go
Vanity
follow
shot
Banks
of
on
the year.
Instagram before he deletes those. So
Yeah, Ben knows me very well. It'll be gone like tomorrow.
yeah, go check that out. And like the man said, youtube.com/@oddball podcast. Go subscribe if you haven't already. With all that said, we'll see you back here, same time, same place. You're listening to Oddball, Vin Forte. My name is Vin Forte. Goodbye and good night.